Oh, all right. So looking at this, sorry with that little adjustment I had to make. So we're looking at bonds today, so bonds and shares. Governments and corporations borrow large sums of money by selling what are called bonds. So they're actually borrowing money from you. So like a GIC and a Canada Savings bonds pay interest. GICs, remember, are guaranteed investment certificates. Canada Savings bonds are just bonds, but they pay smaller amounts of interest, but you're guaranteed money. Unlike GICs and Canada Savings bonds, these are bought and sold on the stock market. Typically by brokers. You can do it by yourself, but it takes a lot of work and you have to kind of pay to get into that market. The market value or price paid for a bond depends on the interest rate that the bonds pay, its maturity date, so how long do you have the bond for, and the security rating of the government or corporation. So realistically, how good is the corporation? The government's always going to pay you fairly well, but the corporations might not, or they might pay you more. As a result, you might buy a bond for more or less than its what's called face value, its stated value. You can also sell it later for more or less than what you paid for. That's kind of how you make money. Sometimes you want to take a bond out early or you want to keep it late, and we'll look at that right now. So an example. First thing we need to remember, showing you the whole thing here. Don't want to show you everything, so I'm going to slide that back up. And you can look at it all, but alright, so simple interest is the principal times the rate as a percent, the rate percent as a decimal again. Remember yesterday we weren't using decimals, today we are, times the time in years. So James bought a $10,000 12-year bond from General Appliance Corporation. The bond paid 6% simple interest per annum, that means per year. If James sells the bond for $9,500, which is $500 less after owning it for 9 years, which is a fairly long time, how much will he have earned on that $10,000 investment? So what we do is we're going to look at our money in. So we want to find our interest, which is going to be I equals PRT. So we've got our principal, which is 1,000, our rate, which is 6% or 0.06, and our time, which is 9 years. We also have to look at how much we sold this bond for. He sold it for $9,500. So this is all money that he's taking in. So he's made $5,400 after we put that into our calculator. The total amount that he's made is $14,900. We also have to look at his money out. Now his money out is $10,000. So money earned is going to be money in minus money out, and then we find that he actually made $4,900. We're taking the money in, which is money he's making, and subtracting the money out. He had to pay out $10,000 to get this bond. So looking at another example, Kieran bought a $5,400 7-year bond from Tasty Toffee Corporation. The bond paid 8% simple interest. If Kieran sells the bond after 4 years, how much will he have made? Well, money in, again, we're looking at our I, so our interest. We have to use PRT, so I equals PRT. We sub in and we found that he's made $1,700 in interest. He sold the bond for $5,100. So he actually sold it. Then we find out that he's made, and an announcement, he's made $6,828. Well, money out, he had to pay $5,400 for that bond. So the money he's earned is money in minus money out. Okay, so he ends up earning $1,428. When you're going through this, I know I'm going through it kind of quick, but you can always pause and replay different parts of the video if you missed anything or if you need to copy it down. Shares. Now shares are a different way of investing money. In shares, we're actually buying parts of a company. So you're buying shares of the company. You're selling and buying shares. Some shares pay a dividend or an amount distributed out of the company's profits. So if the company makes profits, you make profits. If the the company loses money though, then you lose money. Shares are just bought and sold
Ms. Mass, please call the main office.
on the stock market. So they're sold by brokers who charge a commission. It costs money to buy and sell stocks. It costs money to buy them. It costs money to then sell them. They are the most volatile up and down in price of all investments. So they're really the hardest thing to invest. Okay? They have all of these different things that affect them. So profitability of the company, prospect of future earnings, state of the economy, political crisis, consumer and investor confidence, and interest rate. These are very, very high risk investments, but you can make the most money. So as a result, the shares you buy will likely be higher or lower in price when you want to sell them. They're not going to be the same. All right, so looking at this, we've got Joe buying 1,000 shares of Acme Corporation, paying $100 commission. When I look at this, shares bought. Okay, so let's look at all the money he's paying out first. So he's paid $850 a share, so $8,500 to buy all those shares. He also paid commission twice. He's going to pay commission at the start and at the end. So he's paid 2 commissions. That's all the money that he's paid out. But then he sold the shares for $10.75. So they were worth more. If we look at that, that's how much money he sold all of his shares for. The way we find out how much money he's actually made is our shares sold minus our shares bought plus the commission. Notice I put it in brackets because we have to subtract both of those values. So here he's actually made $1,995. Finally, another example, we've got Wilma buying some shares in Jeff's Jamming Record Corporation. So Wilma bought the shares at $5.25 a share. She paid a bunch of commission. So she paid commission twice. Again, $95 to buy them, $60 to sell them. Well, why did she pay less to sell them? Because the shares went way down in price. So Wilma actually lost money here if you look at the final calculations. She sold them for $4.50. You always want to set up all of these questions the same. And look, her money earned, her commission was $155. Her money earned, shares sold minus shares bought and commission. She actually lost. She has a negative number here. She lost $561. That's a lot of money to lose, but that's what the stock market does. All right, so you're going to look at your worksheet, and that is the lesson for today.